Renovating an old Stuart steam engine, Part 8, Doing it right. I start again and put the engine components in the correct positions this time. First I show the cleaned up oilers, which are now fitted in place on the main bearings and the eccentric strap. I didn't want to use ordinary 4BA bolts to hold the top cylinder cover in place. Instead, I made some studs, and I show how I did this. It's simpler than you may think, and on a top cylinder cover, studs look far better than bolts. I forgot to include this sequence in the last episode. Here are the oilers, which I've cleaned up, and they look a lot better. I'm fitting them in place using Loctite 542, which is just a thread sealant. It won't lock them in position, but it will prevent them from working loose. And here, with a bottle of Loctite 542 in my hand, I apply a small amount to the threads, being very careful not to get it in the hole in the middle. The oiler that I'm currently fitting is the one that fits the eccentric strap, but the process was identical when I fitted the oilers to the top caps of the bearings. I'm about to fit the connecting rod to the crank pin on the crankshaft. First of all, I oil it and check that the marks match, just so it's not the wrong way round. I've mentioned this many times in my videos. When tightening bolts against a soft metal like gunmetal, do not over-tighten the steel bolts, otherwise the gunmetal could distort. You don't need a torque wrench. With experience you can develop the correct torque setting in your head. It's very rarely that I shear off any of these small bolts. Here are a collection of parts that I cleaned up previously. This includes the multi-step pulley, which I don't think I'll be fitting back to the engine. Any drive to ancillary equipment would be by a leather belt from the flywheel. Over now to my Myford ML7R lathe, and what I'm doing is removing the heads from some commercial 4BA bolts. The reason for this is I need to convert them to studs for the cylinder top cover. And this seemed a very simple way to do it. They will all be the same length because I'm removing the head from each of the bolts, which is a standard size. Once I've done this, I use the angle of the cutting tool to give me a nice coned effect on the end. The last part of the job is to remove the sharp edge using a file, because the last thing I want to do is cut my hand on a sharp stud. I have to make 6 of these studs, so it's a bit of a mini mass production. But don't worry, I'm not going to show the making of all 6, just a couple of them, just in case you blinked and missed the first one. The first thing to do is to screw a nut onto the stud from the end which I haven't machined. Apply some Loctite 603 and wind the nut nearly to the end. And the nuts need to be the same distance from the end of every stud. Here's a remarkably simple tip. Apply some heat to the nut with the Loctite on it. It will make it cure quicker. And as a general rule, once the nut gets too hot to hold, you drop it on the bench, and that's just long enough. Here is a gratuitous shot of a 4BA spanner. The Loctite is now fully cured, and I need to bolt each of the studs in place. Even though I'm referring to these as studs, they are really just dummy bolts, but they look like studs when they're in position and serve exactly the same purpose. To finish the job, I will have to remove them all to fit a gasket, but I haven't made that yet. Why am I removing the nuts that hold the cylinder to the standard? Well, it's quite simple. The cylinder is the wrong way round. Everything on this engine is a bit of a compromise. It only fits in the position that it fitted in when it was made. I presumed the cylinder to be in the right place because it was a very easy fit, but in reality it was the wrong way round. I'm backtracking even further. To be honest, I don't come across engines like this very often. They're either really badly made or very well made. This is somewhere in between. The crankshaft is machined from the solid, from a casting in fact, and although it runs very true, one side is bigger than the other. If I don't turn the crankshaft around, then the eccentric sheave and the flywheel will not fit on their respective ends. The crankshaft ran true like this before. It was just a problem fitting the flywheel and the eccentric sheave. I'm running the video to high speed to get through this because basically you've seen it all before in the previous episode. even though the parts that I'm currently fitting have been fitted the other way round. The cylinder is a very tight fit on top of the standard. Now it's in the correct way round. I really don't get this, but such is life. I had to tap the cylinder down into the standard using a piece of softwood. I think originally the nuts were used on the studs to pull the cylinder down onto the top of the standard. This actually put a lot of stress on the nuts and they were difficult to turn. The solution was easy. I just fitted new nuts and everything was okay. The entire assembly is much more free running than it was previously, and I'm using my electric drill to just bed it in a little bit. Now I can turn the crankshaft quite easily using my fingers, even though the ends of it are very oily. After I'd rotated the crankshaft, I made sure all the bolts were tight on the bearing top caps. Then I used a cloth to wipe the ends of the crankshaft so I could turn it again. And it appears to move very smoothly. I'm quite happy with this now. In this clip I'm making doubly sure that the parts fit on their respective ends of the crankshaft, and they do indeed. I temporarily fitted the aluminium pulley, which looks really out of place, and I can't think of an application where I need a three-way pulley. So I'll probably put that in a box of random strange parts in my workshop. It's time now to fit the exhaust pipe, but there is something wrong with it. It's obviously bent, as you can see it's meant to be, but it's also bent the other way. The whole pipe is bent the other way. I need to straighten it. Despite trying to straighten it with my hand, that didn't seem to work. But this did. I used a length of softwood and put the pipe on the bench and hit it fairly gently with a hammer. Now it's perfectly straight, which is what I want it to be. Apart from the ends, of course. This seems to look okay, so I'm quite happy with it. And that is it for this episode. The pipe is straight, everything's in place, the engine rotates freely. What more can I want? I'd like to say, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.